I chose to go into academia, it was really the only choice for me. I knew that it was right for me because my mind goes in a million directions a lot of times. I'm always thinking of new things to do and new innovative projects that I can do to expand my practice or do something better or treat a disease in a different way. And academia gives me a little bit of flexibility in terms of my time. It also gives me residents and fellows and excited students to work with that keep my my love of the specialty going. Anytime I think of something new, an editorial piece I want to write, or a new project or a clinical research program that I want to start, there's always a student, a resident, a fellow, someone that wants to work with me.
I think it's also really important, especially in private practice, to understand the route to partnership. Even if you think you might only be there for a couple years, you're waiting for a spouse to finish a program or some such thing, you want to make sure you understand how the time you've invested may result in benefit for you later on. But a little bit of patience is really helpful. You might have this career for another 40 or 50 years, so it's no rush to get it right. You need to make sure you are set up to really realize your own dreams, and you shouldn't be afraid to ask for them and to go for them.
I'd say if you're into delayed gratification, you'll be just fine doing academics. You know, it's a slower start.
Academics was a very obvious choice. I love the stimulation of being around very bright people, doing very interesting things, the opportunity to do different things on different days. So for me, there was no question that this is the career that I wanted to pursue.
So I think the advantages of having an academic job are really marked. And I think a couple things. One is that you come to work interested every day. And I think being around trainees keeps you young, keeps you interested. And it's really a blessing to be around really young, passionate people. And I don't think there's better than dermatology trainees.
I think there's several advantages of an academic job. One, there's wonderful collaboration. Every day you're working with only your peers and colleagues, and you can bring them into rooms when you have complicated cases. But you also have different sets of learners that are with you who are really eager to learn about dermatology and medicine in general, from resident physicians to medical students to outside rotators. And it's a very fulfilling, rewarding experience to be able to teach and watch their careers grow as well.
I think a lot of times people will give you a niche where there's opportunity, and I think that's important. There needs to be opportunity, but it's hard to pursue a niche where there's no passion.
So I don't think everybody needs to have a niche, but I think for someone who's never really had one, I can think that would be one of the things I wish I had done more. And I think it's really important to establish it because it can increase your interest and really give you some special expertise. So even though I've never really done it, it's something that maybe I wish I had done earlier on.
It doesn't really matter what it is that you pick as long as it's something that you will be excited about continuously, as opposed to what somebody else tells you to do.
You can go into something, and if you love it and you want to keep with it, then more power to you. But on the other hand, you can always switch into something else if you find it of interest and you'd like to do that.
I think that becoming an expert in an area is important for you, whether in private practice or in academics. I think the types of enjoyment you can get from being an expert will extend across practice types.
Don't just do a procedure or do a subspecialty because everybody else is doing it. You know, put your priorities first as far as family, home, and then you have time, you have a whole career to develop a niche. It's not something that needs to be determined right out of residency.
And I think that life and work balance are very important. I think it's particularly important for women, but even men now. You know, what the maternity leave allowances, whether you can add to it and have your job protected for X number of months if you want to take more time off. I think these are the important kind of questions, because if you're in it for the long haul, you want to make sure that you're happy and that you have time for your family.
So I think really just do what makes you happy and try not to feel guilty and stay positive, and that's the best advice I have.
You know, I think it's important to pace oneself, particularly women. I try to advise a lot of young women, and it's a long haul ahead of us. So finding a balance with your family, your work, it's important to know that your career at some point can change. Your priority may change throughout your career, and that's okay. And that you can even change the area of interest within your career, and that each time that you grow and change, that's a growth for oneself, and it can be a positive change.
So put your faith first, if whatever that is. Please put your family next in importance, and then pay strict attention and careful attention to your career, and find out how you can because they're not mutually exclusive. You can actually combine them in a very productive manner to lead the rest of your life.